In today's diorama, we are catching a ghost. More specifically, one very famous ghost. Join me in this exciting journey. I'll show you how I painted Slimer, built a custom base with a hidden magnet switch and LED, and even hung tiny floating snacks. There are Ghostbuster Easter eggs hidden along the way. Spot them all and there's a prize waiting for you in my Discord. Link down below. Let's start with the star of the show, Slimer himself. Straight off the printer, I primed him white and filled his big smile with a bit of putty before airbrushing. Then, Vallejo Goblin Green as base color, followed by a coating of Army Painter Shamrock Green speed paint for shadows and depth. I built up glowing highlights with AK Interactive Fluorescent Green, layer by layer. This color is super translucent, so I had to paint many layers, but the effect in the end is gonna be very cool. It's the same process for all the slime, except the silicone, of course. After that is dried, I painted the gum dark red using a mix of murder scene and crusader skin. And gave the teeth a slightly brown hue to make them extra gross. Fun fact, the original Ghostbuster needed around 100,000 gallons or 308,000 liters of slime. They even kept 4 cement mixers on set, churning out fresh batches every day. Imagine that job on your resume. Speaking of slime, I wanted him covered in slime for that extra spice. We can't have a slimy ghost without slime, can we? I mixed silicone, white spirit and green color. If you want to learn how I made the slime, that video will be linked in the description and pop up in the end too. Check it out after this. Next up, I wanted the base itself to do something special. So it's time to build in some LEDs and a magnet switch. How did this end up here? Maybe this is some sort of a secret. The glowing base was designed in Fusion 360 to fit 3 LED noodles and 1 magnetic switch snugly around the edge. Everything is wired to a battery holder and glued in place underneath. I also modeled a recess so the jar locks perfectly in place. I wanted this base to feel as engineered as the Ghostbusters gears themselves. The magnet switch was the trickiest part. The first time I built it, I didn't line it up correctly and the whole LED flickered like it was possessed. Half the time it weren't even turned on because the switch didn't react. So I had to tear it all apart and redo everything. But once I finally lined it up perfectly, it worked like magic. With a magnet hidden in the bottom of the jar. That way, a simple twist brings the whole scene to life. Ooh, that is gonna look great on the Slimer. Since the bottom of the jar isn't perfectly flat, I needed an extra platform to hold the Slimer and the ghost trap securely. That's where the steel crate comes in. Though cutting this thing was a nightmare. First I tried a Dremel, which basically destroyed the tool. So I switched to a hacksaw and hours later I finally had a circle. I swear this thing was forged in Wakanda. I half expected Black Panther to show up and ask what I was doing with it. Once I had my circle, I bent the rim so it sat flat inside the jar. Then I primed it white and sprayed it yellow. I masked off section to make a stripe pattern. And sprayed the whole thing black. After drying, I could peel away the tape. Oh, so satisfying. Again! I sponged metallic paint on top and carved away a little color to give it some wear and tear. I was about to slime up the jar, and then I realized, oh wait, didn't I forget something? Some important details. Slimer's not Slimer without the Proton Pack chasing him down. Cue the music! Okay, the rock show is over. And now I can finally slime up the jar. Took long enough. First, I glued the Proton Pack to the inside of the jar. Then a dab of silicone to pin Slimer down on the base, because if I don't, he'll float away, like it always does. After a fresh batch of slime, I flung it into the side so it could drip just right. But not so much in the front. No point of doing all this work if you can't see him, right? Of course, no Slimer scene is complete without snacks. I mean, this guy has a metabolism of a black hole. I painted some pizza slices, donuts and hot dogs. I had a vision of food floating around him in this chaotic scene. No one loves food like Slimer. Then I glued each treat to a fishing line and glued them carefully in the lid so they float around him just right. Speaking of hanging around, a huge thanks to my Patreons for keeping these builds alive. And a special thank you for the new Patreon, Nath. You're the real Ghostbuster squad making all this slime and chaos possible. And here it is! Slimer, finally caught in a jar. Ghostbuster fans, we did it! If you enjoyed this Ghostbuster tribute, check out the playlist for more weird dioramas and builds. Oh, and don't forget, if you spotted all the Easter eggs, head over to the Discord with the answer for a chance to win. And subscribe if you want more builds. See you next time!